All right, this is MobileGamerNerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard only run video. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite thing, nukers. People who can nuke the hell out of anybody and make them die. That's it. We want heroes that can kill things. That's what we want. And we're going to go through some of my best ones and the ones that I use most of the time and ones that you can use pretty much in place of the ones that I use, basically. All right. So let's take a look. Let's get that one gem and let's go in here. So who do we have that nukes? So Cleo is actually a really good nuker. We're going to start from the legendaries and work our way down into the rares, just because I know everyone's waiting for the rares. Yeah, it's kind of a jerk move, but you know what? I'm doing it. So Cleo, she is awesome. She actually has two nuking abilities. One that increases crit rate and crit damage on her and attacks all enemies, which also places Hex and with 75% chance of placing a block active skills debuff if they're under Hex. That's what it was. Then she has this skill, which also hits everybody. All right, and she places a increased accuracy buff on her and then attacks everybody. She also places the Hex. So basically, you're going to use this, nuke the hell out of everything, and then go back in and use this and nuke the hell out of everything again. She could be used as a campaign farmer if you can get her skills to reset often. So maybe like a extra turn thing where you use Relentless, or you could use a, was it Reflex, I think it is, one that lowers cooldowns, and then get her masteries where it lowers cooldowns. It is conceivable that you could have one of those things go off and reset one of her cooldowns so that way she can campaign farm. Would I set her up for campaign farming? No. I mean, she's more for other things, so I don't think I would go that route with her, but you can. It's not something that I would recommend, but feel free to do it. Yeah, she's awesome for nuking. Definitely one of the higher end ones. She definitely does a damage over time mechanic with the hexes, I believe. So she's constantly just doing damage. It's very nice. She's an awesome hero. You can use her in arena. You can use her in dungeons, pretty much wherever you want. I don't use her as much as I should, and she's going to start kind of rearing her head into a lot of content that I do, especially in Hydra and things like that, where she does a ton of damage and really helps out. All right, Yannicka. She is more for arena. From what I've seen, I don't use her pretty much anywhere else. I don't use her in Doom Tower. She doesn't have any utility. She has one utility, and that's basically Leech. Otherwise, she can bust through shields, and she can do a couple of other things. Her single target attack is extremely powerful, so she can do a lot of damage on that first hit. Really good for arena, so we have her set up in arena type stuff and arena type masteries. Say we have her with all this stuff down to Helm Smasher. Her skills are basically a one hit on an enemy 2 times, and she has a leech. She attacks all enemies 2 times if this champion is under a veil, so she can hit everybody. Basically, she has a bunch of AoEs. She can use this skill, which puts perfect veil on her. Then she can use an AoE. This grants an extra turn, which is nice. So she basically gets a one shot and then can do any of her AoEs. Or you could use this one and it'll attack everybody because she'll be under the veil once you use that regular attack. This is why she's so good in the arena. You can basically just kind of hit that Death Knight that everybody uses, kill them, hopefully. If you don't kill them, maybe you'll kill them on the second hit when you AoE everyone down. And if anyone has any shields, then this will be nice. They remove shield buffs from the target if this champion is under veil or perfect veil, and then deals extra damage equal to 15% of the value of the shield removed. So basically, the higher their shield is, the more damage she's going to do to them and wipe their asses when people use shields. So she's a really good counter to shield teams in the arena. I would just use her in there. We got her in the Soul Reap Blessing. Best thing you can get for her. Awesome hero. Masteries, I think we just showed, right? Yeah, Helm Smasher. So yeah, that's her. She's awesome for arena. I still use her today for arena. She's basically my upgrade in arena from Soul Bond. Soul Bond can one-shot heroes. She can one-shot heroes and then attack the rest of the team. So yeah, it's like kind of like a bonus. Awesome, awesome hero. Not really a nuker, so we're going to skip him. Also not really a nuker, so we're going to skip him. Yeah, Carl. All right, so this dude is by far and away my favorite hero of the legendaries, and he is just so good. I can't really say enough good things about you, Carl. He has the best skills ever, like almost ever. The only time he's bad is when there's unkillable heroes going on, and you don't have anybody to remove the unkillable. Other than that, he is awesome. He's got the coolest background in the game. Go ahead, see, look at it. Got all this, the moon. He's like it's like the castle from Bloodborne, the snow castle. That's where he lives. He lives at that place, whatever it's called. the castle. Skills. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 40% chance of placing freeze debuff. He'll ignore 25% of the target's defense against targets under freeze. So basically, anyone who's frozen, he's going to do more damage to them. So that's good. Then he's got this skill, which is the best skill in the game that I can see. Not really in the game, but it's one of the best that I have. He attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a decreased speed debuff for 3 turns, which is awesome, and a 75% chance of placing a freeze. Also steals 100% of the target's turn meter and places a 30% increased speed buff on him, and he will ignore 50% of the target's debuff under freeze. So if someone's frozen, he's stealing their turn meter, keeping their turn meter, doing 50% more damage to the target, and increasing their speed and lowering their speed. It's like literally every skill you could ever want in a hit in one skill. It's crazy. All of it at once. He just does that. And then he has so much turn meter, if you hit somebody who has full turn meter, that he can go in and then hit everybody and do a nuke. So you could just nuke everyone like this from the beginning and just hit everyone and freeze them. Or you can go in with that one skill, take someone's turn meter away who's going to be really annoying, or kill them possibly. I've seen him do over 100k damage on it right now, and steal a turn meter, and then all of a sudden get another turn and attack everyone. But he does have a chance to freeze everyone, and he has, let's see, debuff cannot be resisted by targets with 75% or more turn meter. Even better. So that's great. He's just going to freeze everyone. And yeah, increases to 100% against targets with 75% or more turn meter. So that's awesome. Masteries, we have him in some more accuracy type stuff, all the way down to War Master. This guy is going to be a staple of your arena team. Once you get him, he's going to be a staple in your dungeon teams. He's on my stage 25 Fire Knight team, who can basically kill the boss without ever getting hit. They might get hit once in the waves, but the boss never hits them. It's a no-turn fight, so it's kind of nice. They just freeze and stun their way to victory, and he can keep the turn meter down long enough for you to just never get the shield down on the Fire Knight. So yes, he is a sick nuker, great for arena. I use him every single time in arena, and I use him for the kill the Fire Knight 10 times without the boss getting a turn for the clan boss quests. I use him in dungeons. I use him in boss fights. We use him in Spider. We use him basically in almost every single fight that we do at this point. He's just too good at crowd control because he freezes everything and then does more damage to them when they're frozen. And he has turn meter manipulation up the wazoo, if you have a wazoo. All right, next nuker. Everyone gets her. Dark Elhain. Really good against in the arena. She is basically your tier up from Kale in the arena. She can do her nuke over and over again if people get frozen. So every time somebody gets frozen, and if she gets frozen, she increases her stats. So awesome for arena. Let's look at her stats, skills. Attacks one enemy and destroys max HP. We use her in Scarab King in the beginning. I don't really use her now because we have a better strat. If you've watched my Borgoth Scarab King video, you know that Jizzo is the man. But this is her AoE. She basically will place a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, then attack everybody. So basically, she's going to increase her own attack and then hit everybody. Has a 50% chance of placing decreased speed. No one cares because guess what? More than likely, you're just going to kill everything. And then, yeah, that's it. Here you go. Fills this champion's turn meter by 25% and instantly activates the Death's Majesty skill whenever this champion or an ally receives a freeze debuff. So there you go. Tormund, you do attack up, everyone gets frozen, and then she does her AoE for free, and then you go back in and do AoE a second time, and then Tormund is no more. So yeah, she is awesome for any hero that likes to play freeze or play freeze games. Then she instantly removes any freeze debuffs on this champion and replaces them with an increased crit rate buff and crit damage buff and a 15% strengthen buff whenever an enemy places a freeze debuff on this champion. So if she's the lucky one that gets frozen by Tormund, well then Tormund gets hit harder. Yeah, awesome hero. Masteries, we basically went full arena on her, all defense, and then down to Helm Smasher. We want her to do as much damage as possible in that first hit and nuke the crap out of people and take them down. And yeah, she's in a bunch of stuff here. She's got, crit damage, attack, and speed. She's got attack, crit damage, and she's got resistance so that she can resist at least something. Her resistance is kind of low, somewhere in the 200 range, 198, right? But either way, awesome nuker for the arena. Awesome in Doom Tower. Awesome for anything with freeze heroes. Awesome in, I would say awesome in Ice Golem, but to be honest, her getting extra attacks when he freezes everyone tends to not help the situation. It tends to hurt the situation, which is why I don't use her there. All right, let's keep moving down the line. Who else do we got here? These are all not nukers. All right, you could make Rush a nuker. We're not using him as a nuker. We use him in Clan Boss, and he is mainly for keeping everyone alive. But he does have two AoEs, one that decreases attack and one that puts a continuous heal on. He is a defensive hero, so you could use him as a nuker, but I wouldn't recommend it. So he's just going to be kind of a touch base on it. But yeah, if you wanted to, you could make his defense insanely high. Oh, skip it over. Boom here, total stats. You could get his defense up to like 4,000 or 5,000, get him some crit damage, and just make him a nuker. It is something you could do, but I don't think it's worth it. Just saying. Who else we got on the list? So now we're into the rares. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of epic nukers. I mean, Dark Aethel, you could consider a nuker. She has two AoEs, but she's just not that strong. And you could, I mean, honestly, mine's not built that great. She's definitely one of my earlier builds. She has crap crit rate. She has some crit damage. But yeah, getting her attack up over 4,000 and then maybe bumping up her crit rate a little bit, she could be conceivably a reasonable nuker. But you just have to build her. I would say just build her for that. I don't think she has any real specific purpose. I mean, she does have weakens. She has some other stuff. She has some utility, but I would say at best she's just a nuker, and you could use her for her aura, which gives you more attack power. See, skills. She has a 20% attack in all battles, which is really only good for earlier game. Once you start moving into other heroes like your Carl, he has a higher attack power. Relic Keeper has a 40% in campaign. So there's just way better heroes that you can use for almost every aspect of the game. So Dark Aethel does kind of fall off. But if you build her, if you put a lot of effort in her and build her correctly, I think you could use her as an arena nuker or pretty much a nuker anywhere because she does hit pretty freaking hard. All right. So yeah, I wouldn't glaze over her. I'm just saying that I personally don't use her almost ever. Literally ever anymore. I don't remember the last time I pulled her out, to be honest, outside of Faction Wars. That's it. Nukers. So we've got Kale. Kale is basically, I don't know why they use Galek as the face of Raid. Honestly, Kale is the face of Raid, at least the face of the player base. So I guess that just shows how out of touch they are that they keep putting Galek in the lead on the commercials. Kale is the number one hero, I would say, in the whole game. And that's because everybody has him. Almost everyone uses him, and he's great throughout the entire game. I use him consistently. Every single area, he's good. Doom Tower, he's good in dungeons. He's good in Iron Twins. He's good in Faction Crypt. He's good in campaign. He's literally an all-around hero. He's great for Clan Boss. And yeah, you could use him anywhere. His main hit is a 1 attack. It does 80% chance of placing a 2.5% poison debuff for 2 turns. He has this nuke, which basically gives him a 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit more than normal, which means you can build him at 85% crit rate. And it also fills his turn meter if he kills something. Awesome for campaign farming, awesome for fights, awesome for Spider, basically anything. And then and everything has a chance of poisoning. So this has a chance of poisoning, and then he attacks 4 times at random, has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So yeah, you're getting a bunch of poisons off of this hit. Awesome for Clan Boss. If you build him for that, I would say build him more of an all-around hero because he's better all around. Early game, he's going to be good for Clan Boss. Would I use him in Clan Boss like now? Probably not. We have too much goodness going on with Grave Chill and Frozen Banshee right here for us to waste time on Kale in Clan Boss because those two are just so good at their job. We don't need him. But yeah, early Clan Boss, you could definitely use him, and he will be amazing. Mastery is basically all the way down to War Master and more accuracy type stuff. Very good. Oh, get out of there. Artifacts, we basically have him in lifesteal because we want him to keep healing himself and some speed stuff. Mine's not even that good as far as total stats. He's reasonably built. He's got 188 speed, and he still does pretty good. His crit damage is 178. We definitely need to rebuild him and get him over 200. I think he'll be an amazing nuker once we actually rebuild him. He's one of the first heroes that I literally have never had to rebuild because he just functions really well how he is built right now. So that's why I haven't rebuilt him. I really should, because if we get him up to that 60k power and some crazy attack and some crazy accuracy, this dude is going to be bombing stuff. So I can't wait to get him all built up. As far as other nukers go, I'd say Judge is a mixed bag. I don't really think I would use him as a nuker. He does have this hit, but it has kind of crappy multipliers. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He's mainly a gamble on debuffs, and that's all he's good for. So I wouldn't recommend using him as a nuker. Headsman does have a one hit that does hit pretty freaking hard, uh, but we don't have any crit damage on him right now. His crit damage is 126. So if we lowered his crit rate a little bit and got him some crit damage, I feel like this dude will hit very hard and is actually kind of cool. So yeah, early game or even for faction wars, Headsman is really cool, and he's got a lot of really good mechanics that he uses. Nothing too amazing, but he's pretty cool. I'm not going to go dig into him because I wouldn't really consider him a nuker. He's more of a support, but yeah, he is pretty cool. All of the starting heroes outside of Aethel, who I never, ever, ever will ever pass up on a chance to tell you guys how much I think she is terrible. I hate Aethel, and I say it every time I have a video with Aethel in it because I need you to understand that I hate her. All right, it's very important that you understand. I hate Aethel, and if you like Aethel, it doesn't change my opinion. I still hate her. Oh man, I just love crapping on Aethel. Uh, there's always that one person who loves Aethel and tries to give me an argument as to why she's amazing. And every time, I don't care. She still is terrible. I hate her. I hate you, Aethel, and your crap haircut. And it sucks because she looks cool. Like I want her to be good, but she's just not. So screw her. All right, Aethel. We've got Elhain right next to her, who is our princess of beauty and arrows. We're gonna basically do Elhain and Galek at the same time. They're essentially, in my book, the same hero. Very little utility, just nuking. That's all they do is just do a ton of damage, and they're just really good at it. And both of them are worth building. Both of them are awesome. Aethel is not, but Elhain I had to do it. Sorry. Elhain and Galek are the same thing. We have them in lifesteal. We basically have all of their skills maxed with Phantom Touch Blessing, Masteries, all the way down to War Master and some accuracy. She went defense because we use her with Helm Smasher more for arena and for breaking through defenses. So they're a little bit differently built in the sense that I use Elhain more for PvP type stuff or high defense areas where I need to do a lot of damage. And Golek, I don't use that, but he's awesome for nuking. His main skill here, Hellraiser, that attacks all enemies, probably has one of the highest multipliers of any hit. You could easily get his crit rate up to an insane amount. I think mine is not too great right now because we were just building them back in the beginning. But yeah, 136. We could easily get him to 200. This dude's going to easily be hitting over 100k damage, even not built correctly when he's this high up. So yeah, definitely build him if you want somebody who can just take out stuff real quick. And if you like dudes who have paint on their face and really sexy tats. Oh, my name is Galek, and I will kill you with my axes. Okay, enough of him. Elhain's great because she has nothing. She has zero utility. Like she's a very selfish hero, and she basically does two AOE's, one that hits one enemy and then everybody, which is cool. So you can target one hero and then hit him again with an AOE, and hopefully that hero is dead. And then she gets an extra attack if she does critical hits, which is awesome. So she's really good at just killing things. That's all she does. Golek has a defense down, but it's not even a good defense down, and it's very situational, so it's kind of annoying. Mainly, I just use it for damage or killing one hero that's just left over, that 4-hitter. So, yeah, but otherwise, awesome nukers. I would use them. They're good for arena. They're good for anything. I mean, really, whatever you want to do. Not clan boss so much. I mean, he has defense down, so he's okay with it, but it's not. I wouldn't choose him for clan boss. Let's see. Who else here is a nuker? Anyone else? I wouldn't really classify Crimson Slayer as a nuker. She's more of support. She does have an AoE hit that does hit really freaking hard, especially if built properly. This one attacks all enemies, has a pretty high multiplier from what I've seen. She can do tons of damage in spiders and a whole bunch of other stuff. She has heal reduction, which is good for early game Fire Knight, things like that. She does have a one-hitter, I mean a 3-hitter on her A1, which is awesome. And she has a turn meter reduction that does a ton of damage, which is awesome as well. But her cooldowns are very low. Like this one has a 5-turn cooldown and she's fully booked. And I think she uses like 13 books or 15 books, like something crazy here. Yeah, like 7, 14, and 8. So that's 15, 22 minus 3. Yeah, she uses like 18 books actually. So she's a heavy reader. But she's worth it if you do build her out. She's on my stage 25 Fire Knight team with Yakarl, and she helps me beat stage 25 Fire Knight with 0 turns. So if you thought Crimson Slayer was bad, you are sorely mistaken. She is she's an amazing hero, and she looks like a Sith. So yeah, I'll take Crimson Slayer over a lot of legendaries. Let's put it that way, especially with the crap that she does. Mastery, she's got her War Master and a lot of accuracy type stuff. We do have her in Lifesteal. You could change that out to get her some more damage, but I think having the Lifesteal is great for her. For what we use her for now, I probably would switch her into more of a Savage setup or breaking through defense, things like that, with more accuracy based stuff. Just because anywhere I use her right now, Lifesteal isn't important because no one gets a turn. So we just want to basically max out her damage output. So that's that. Other than that, I think that's all my nukers. Yeah, that's basically all my main nukers. Outrider, you could call him a nuker. He does have an AoE attack, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't build him as a nuker, but you can. Actually, we're going to be rebuilding him as a nuker because we don't use him anymore for his destroy HP. So we're probably going to end up taking this out and giving him a full attack set, getting him up to around 50k power, hopefully, with some crazy crit damage. And then we're going to test him out again, and we're going to redo Outrider's champion spotlight because it's very important that you see what he can do. Very high multipliers for an uncommon, like ungodly, basically. So I guess, yeah, he could be a nuker, but we'll see how he runs once we build him a little bit more effectively. And then we've got Diablo. I'm just kidding. We're not doing Diabolist. So that's mainly all of my nukers. If you're looking for your little side nukers, Deliana is probably pretty good at that. Artak, so far, my opinion of Artak is he's only good for PvE content. In Arena, he's a joke to me. I don't think he's ever killed my team once. I've said this in a few videos. He's pretty much garbage for Arena type stuff, unless you have somebody that works well with him. So otherwise, I wouldn't use him there. But he's great for PvE. Amazing for PvE because of his burns. All right. She is awesome. Rhonda, awesome nuker, and so is the Monkey King. So those two are probably a lot better. I've seen them one-shot my whole team. So yeah, those two I would 100% say those are the two best nukers. Her, if you need an attack lead, which I don't think 90% of people use unless you're really good with speed gear, and he's got a speed lead, so you can probably, I would say, use him first and have this girl come in as a secondary. So he can come in, nuke everybody, and then she can come in and just finish the job. Deliana, like I said, she's just really good, I think, in a revenge set or some kind of counterattack situation. So yeah, those are all really good nukers, and I would recommend building him and her and Deliana, honestly. I mean, you could build them all. They're all good. It's not like any of these heroes are bad. It's just we're talking about nukers right now, okay? But yeah, nuker here, not so much. I don't really consider Artak and nuker. I consider him a support hero, almost like Drex. So that's all of my nukers and the ones that I love using. If you guys have any questions or things that you want to talk about, remember this is mystery shards only. So if you're wondering why you're only seeing a bunch of random heroes that everyone gets, it's because that's all I use. So that should answer your question. All right. And if you have any comments, things you want to say, other nukers that you guys use that maybe are pretty accessible for other people and for people who just don't have all those crazy legendaries, feel free to leave a comment below and let us know which heroes that you use to nuke the crap out of everybody. And I know Seer's a nuker. All right? We all know that Seer can nuke everyone. I'm not. I get it. All right. I get it. She's the best nuker in the game with debuffs. All right. As always, please make sure you like, share, subscribe. It's the best way to grow the channel, and the channel is growing, and I thank you all for that. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Halloween weekend. I will be in a different state on vacation when you guys watch this, so I hope you enjoy it. So this is all of my nukers that I own and my best ones. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and you guys take care.